Hello and welcome back to another Toronto video. In today's one, we're at the Humanity, the RW ongoing series, issue number 10. So this issue, it seems like it's going to be a pretty interesting one to start off with, just because with this issue, we're going to be seeing it from Raph's point of view, and we're going to be seeing the tale's going to be going on trial for the murder that Raph didn't commit but is being framed for. So it's going to be a very interesting one to see what actually plays out in this one. And also not to mention, we're going to be getting some flashbacks to more Raph in prison, which is, I must admit, a really great bonus for now. So yeah, okay, so on the first page, we do see Raph. He's back in prison, and this is a flashback to when he was in prison, and he's going off, fighting off a bunch of like inmates and that kind of stuff. And he's basically using this whole like narrative as saying that, you know, he's been in like these kind of situations before, where he's been locked up and all that kind of stuff. However, like, you know, like back then he was like be seen as like a cage, like an animal alongside with all the other animals, like the inmates and that kind of stuff. And I must admit, I do like how brutal this page is. You're just seeing like all the little knives and Raph's shell, blood coming off his fists and all that kind of stuff. It's just an amazing shot. I love how brutal and dark this whole image is. I feel like this is definitely what Jennifer's artwork really shines well in, with just some of the more dramatic elements with the action, the colours. It's just amazing. So then after that, we do cut over to the next page, where we do get to see Raph. He gets beaten up by the guards as he gets pulled away by them back to his cell. And in this bit here, there isn't really too much to it other than just he used to fight because he wanted to and all that kind of stuff, and it was fun, so he was going back into trouble and all that kind of stuff. And he goes on to mention the argument with the brothers again, but, you know, he says, oh yeah, magically none of us can know what it was called for with it. What a coincidence and all that kind of stuff. And then he used to say that also that like, when like the cage was, or his like cell door was shut, the lights went out, he would be grinning just because of how fun it was and that kind of stuff, which is an interesting take. I can't deny that. That's a very interesting one for Raph, and something which I would hope that they would expand upon, because I feel like there's a lot of stuff which you could explore there with everything with Raph's rage and all that kind of stuff, but unfortunately if I don't go over that in this issue here, or not yet at least. So then we do cut back over to the like present day stuff. We do get to see Raph. He's waking up with his brothers inside the I think it's the Bronx Zoo. I think it's what the call is. And yeah, so there isn't really too much like to this bit here, other than just saying that, oh yeah, well in the last issue we will find some cops. However, they weren't cops, they were actually the thugs, and they were being locked up. Whoa. So yeah, I mean, Raph even says he doesn't like mind it here, which is an interesting take for him. I definitely would have thought he would have been a lot more rageful for it, all of it, because he would have been one for be like, oh my god, I can't believe they're treating us like actual animals and that kind of stuff. I'm quite surprised he's acting like very calmly about it. And then after that, we do get to see Donnie. He shows up and says, well yeah, you know, like we're not going anywhere, so, you know, we must just get like things over and done with like each other and be like, yeah, we've got things to work out. So, you know, at least they're making progress there for the actual story itself. So for the next bit, we do get to see them just talking a little bit more, and then like this is something which I feel like I'm probably forgetting just because of how long it's been since the last issue, because they're going on saying that, like, you know, like, because like I was listening to your advice, Donnie, and all that kind of stuff, and know for like, you know, we've got to save the city, we've got to stop the first and all that kind of stuff. But from what I can remember, it didn't really act that way, or maybe I'm misremembering something. I feel like I probably am. I mean, at least I really hope I am, because I don't want to like start accusing for like maybe, you know, like I'm misremembering something and, you know, it actually did happen or something like that. But yeah, there isn't really too much to it other than just Raph pulls out Spencer's or the rat's dead body and be like, you know, like, can't hear him anymore, can't hear the crying and all that kind of stuff, which I do find to be quite interesting, and I am quite curious to see where this could go next with this whole storyline and all that kind of stuff, with what it could be doing. I still am on the theory that it could be Karai with her dark magic and all that kind of stuff, and I'm really hoping it is. So yeah, then for the next page, which don't have any like dialogue, but this was part of a earlier preview where I had no dialogue. But on this bit here, we do get to see Raph. He lays down the rat's dead body, and then we do cut over to a bit where we do get to see all Tales in their like costumes before this whole new story up began, and before the Tales were like connected and all that kind of stuff. We get to see Raph in his inmate suit, Mikey in his like 70 outfit, Leo in his meditating gear and Donnie in his wandering, pre-insane self. So, like this bit here, I'm like very curious to see what they could be doing in this bit and what it could be setting up for their like eventual return to being like more like united brothers and that kind of stuff. So this page, it has me very intrigued with what they could be showing off here. It's interesting and I'm very curious to see where it could lead to, but at the same time I'm still holding back a lot of restraint just because I know that there's going to be stuff in there which I'll be like, oh, that could have been done better. So, yeah, yeah. And then also, I have to say for something also which I do, like, I'm quite enjoying as well for this, issue as well, is that this whole issue is not, it's not broken up by panels, it's broken up by, like, bars and, like, the actual cells, which I do find to be quite interesting as, like, panels. So, I'm quite curious to see it just be something which they do continue out throughout the whole like issue, or it will only be for like these certain images and that kind of stuff, or something along those kind of lines. I'm very curious about it, but we'll wait and see about that. But I do find it be a quite nice, interesting choice to take for this issue. Okay, yeah. So for the next bit, we've got the description for this issue. It is, the trial of Timothy begins here. Framed for murder they didn't commit, the brothers Hamato, that's wrong, weirdly put. Brothers Hamato are imprisoned for the Foot Clan, awaiting the judgment of the city's greatest criminals. In a battle in New York City, the Timothy have officially lost. So, yeah. I mean, I'll just say that overall, I got a feeling that, you know, Toa's probably going to get framed for murder and actually be guilty of it all kind of stuff because, you know, got city criminals judging them, so obviously they can be judged for, yeah. And then also them officially lost. Yeah, I've got nothing else to really say to that. Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting description for the most part, but I guess we'll wait and see about that. Okay, so for the covers, we've got cover A, which is done by George Phones. In this one, we get to see Raph looking down, where we get to see a bunch of police cars and the foot symbol on the building. This one does look quite cool. I mean, the only problem with this one so far to say is that it doesn't feel like it's trying to be too much more like the description of this issue or the actual issue itself. But I'd say that it's interesting. I do like the look of this one with all the colours, and it does look quite nice with the colours. I just wish that this one was a bit more like the story itself. And then for cover B, which we get to see the turtles in their gear, just like the last page we got to see, and it looks nice. I do like all the red in the background. That's an interesting choice. I may not would have gone for that, but yeah, I mean, I don't have much to really say about it, other than it's just a really nice cover that just shows off all the other turtles in their gear and all that kind of stuff. And then for the last cover, which I'm going to go over, which is cover C, done by Jennifer Ray, who's doing the artwork for this issue. We get to see the turtles, they're holding up the hammer, I think it's Justice or something like that, from Judge. I mean, I do like how they are playing into the whole element of turtles being on trial. I do like that element of incorporating that into the actual design for the actual issue itself. If anything, I would prefer this one to actually be cover A, because I feel like this would have represented the story a lot more. But, yeah, well, it is what it is. But, yeah, let me know in the comment section below what about this issue. Are you looking forward to it, are you not? I'd say that I mostly am, but I'm still very skeptical about it because I know what could happen in this issue, so, oh boy, yeah. But, yeah, let me know in the comment section below what about this issue. And, yeah, that's going for today, guys. Please subscribe and all that stuff. Goodbye, yo. Bye.